Hey guys, so beside me is a Strongarm Combo Rack by Strongarm Sports. I've had this rack for about 7 months now, and I'd love to give you guys a full in-depth review, the pros and cons of this rack. So let's get started. So we're gonna start off the pros here. The first thing I really want to talk about is the affordability of this rack. This rack is under $1,000 Canadian, and for a lifting rack, that is very affordable. Something like an ER rack, a Lico rack, or even the Rogue Combo rack will set you back over $2,000, $3,000. Next thing I want to talk about is that this rack mimics the powerlifting style. When I say this, in a powerlifting meet, you'll generally use a combo rack, and this combo rack mimics that. You can squat, and you can bench out of it. There are also adjustable rack heights that offer quick rack height changes. This can even be done with weight loaded on the bar. The rack is very sturdy because it is made from a very heavy and rigid metal. To coincide with the design, there are 2 plate holders attached. This allows for plate storage to save room, and which adds more stability. The last pro I want to talk about is that this rack has band attachments. It comes with 2 pairs of pegs, a pair for each side. There's different settings, so where the pegs can go, and this will allow for different band positioning and different band resistance. Now let's get on with the cons. First thing I like to cover is that this bench is ridiculously heavy because of the foot platform made from the same heavy material as the rack itself. Now to attach the bench to the rack, you need to line up all the slits on the footing platform to the 2 threaded holes. This can take a bit of time and can be difficult to line up. The weight of the bench doesn't help either. Honestly, I'm not too sure why they chose this for the design. Most combo racks have a drop-in design that only takes seconds to finish. To continue on with the bench, it is IPF approved. An IPF bench is 42 to 45 centimeters high. This bench is about 42 centimeters. You can see that is much lower than a standard 45 centimeter diameter plate. The last thing I want to mention about the bench is the footing platform itself. It's located at the very end of the bench. The platform is not an ideal place when you want to get lift-offs. Honestly, it's just better to stand on the floor and give the lift-off from there, so the footing platform is kind of useless at that point. All combo racks have bench safeties. In the Strongarm rack, there are plastic inserts. I'm not too sure why they went with this design choice. As you can see, on the right side, my plastic insert broke. When the inserts break, there's too much play in it, and that makes it difficult to line the pin so you can adjust the safety heights. Really, it would have been better if the male and female parts were just flush. The rack features nice nylon rollers to help you adjust the bar. The problem with the rollers is that they are too wide. There's too much room for the bar to move side to side. So when you're setting up for the bench press, it's kind of annoying to have the bar move on you. As for the bench arms, I've seen a few Strongarm racks. They consistently aren't flush with the rack. This space allows for the movement in the arms. This is kind of scary and doesn't help with your bench setup at all. Another thing I like to mention is when you're squatting, to watch out for the catch arms when you're re-racking the bar. They are very short and you need to be careful because you don't want to dump the bar over you. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the finishing. You can see on the racks there are pretty blatant and ugly finishes on this. There are nice fat and ugly weld beads left on the rack. I'm no welder, but the welds look like they were just done quickly and unprofessionally. It kind of looks like whatever thick welds are left on there, they just grind it and sand it down. And for the pins, for the rack adjustments, they are very rough, and as you can see, they are still very, very dirty. So there you guys have it. That's my review of the Strongarm Combo Rack. There's a lot of pros, but there's a hell of a lot of cons. So the question is the rack worth it? So for me, I'm a powerlifter. I specifically wanted a combo rack. Yes, I could have gotten a cage, I could have added, attachments onto it, do pull-ups and all that. But honestly, I really wanted a combo rack. And again, for the price, I think it's very worth it. There are those little things, those cons that I don't really like about it, but in the end of the day, I still like the rack very much. It's something a little different and it does exactly what I need to do to give me the powerlifting competition feel. So there you guys have it. If you have any questions, please leave it down in the comment section. So about weekly, I upload training footage. So if you guys are interested in my powerlifting, just my training and how I go about things, feel free to subscribe and check them out. Other than that, see you guys later.